Marcus looked panicked. He glanced at the slide I was holding, then at his notes, then back at the slide. The numbers were definitely wrong, and I could see sweat forming on his forehead. Well, that's just a preliminary estimate, he stammered, but the investors were starting to whisper among themselves. That's when I did the stupidest, boldest thing of my life. Without thinking, I said, "Actually, sir, I believe you meant to show slide 7B, not 7A. I had no idea what I was talking about, but I reached into the stack and pulled out a completely random slide with different numbers on it. The room went silent. Marcus stared at me like I'd lost my mind. But the older woman nodded and said, "Those numbers look more accurate. Thank you for catching that." Somehow, I'd accidentally saved the presentation by making up a slide that didn't exist. Marcus played along perfectly. "Yes, exactly. Thank you, Daniel," he said, even though that wasn't my name. For the next hour, every time he looked confused or uncertain, I'd randomly hand him a different slide, and somehow it kept working. The investors loved the presentation. They signed the deal right there in the room, worth $30 million. As everyone was shaking hands and celebrating, Marcus pulled me aside. "I don't know what just happened, but you just saved my company. That wasn't even my presentation. I grabbed the wrong folder this morning." Turns out Marcus had been so stressed about his assistant quitting that he'd brought completely outdated materials to the most important meeting of his career. My random slide flipping had somehow covered up his mistake and made him look prepared and professional. "How did you know which slides to show?" he asked me. I looked him straight in the eye and said, "Lucky guesses." He laughed and handed me an envelope with $5,000 instead of the promised $1,000. But the best part came next. "You've got good instincts under pressure," he said. "How would you feel about being my new assistant? Real salary, benefits, the whole package." I quit my grocery store job that afternoon. 3 years later, I'm the operations manager at Marcus's company, making more money than I ever dreamed of. And Marcus still tells the story at company parties about the grocery store clerk who saved a $30 million deal by pretending to know what he was doing. The funniest part is that I still have no idea what those slides actually said. I was just too nervous to read them properly and kept grabbing random ones from the stack.